Hey YouTube, Shuki here with my spoiler-free review of the Power Rangers movie. Now, I've seen it twice so far. I went to the LA Hollywood premiere, thanks to Lionsgate and Saban. For that, I will link right here, and in the end card for my vlog of that. That was the most terrific experience you can possibly have in your nerd lifetime. Like, I don't think my nerd life is gonna ever surpass what just happened to me on Wednesday. But here's hoping. Maybe it will. Maybe it will. Maybe it won't. I don't know. We shall see. But again, huge thanks to Kenneth and everyone at Lionsgate for hooking us up with that. That was absolutely phenomenal. And I couldn't imagine any other experience topping that one. And it was a great time with Chris from Toku Nation, and Eric from Ranger Command Power Hour, and Hassan Ahmed from the World of Ha. They were terrific little hotel roommates, and just all around great buddies. And also huge thanks to Brandon Omega Red from Ranger Board for supplying us with a car, and again just being an awesome dude to hang around with. And that's not even it. Like, everyone else that was in the area showed up, and a ton of other people from other states ended up coming down for it too. So it was a pretty big Power Force crowd, and I couldn't be happier about it. It was really cool to share that experience with everybody. And my only major regret of like the entire premiere was just not being able to get a one-on-one opportunity with the cast. That was really my only I don't want to say complaint, because I think that's asking too much, but downside of the entire thing was not getting that nice, not one-on-one per se, but like a group-on-group thing. Sounded kind of weird, but you know what I mean. But I did get a couple autographs, so it's better than nothing, and it was a great time. I got to meet a majority of the cast, albeit very briefly, but hopefully maybe someday in the future, maybe Lionsgate will chip in and bring him to Morphicon or something like that. I think that would be incredible, but we'll see what happens in the future as well. Movie's off to a really strong start in the box office. It probably won't top Beauty and the Beast, but Disney's a powerhouse. I can totally surrender that to Beauty and the Beast. I can understand that. So. But yeah, really strong start, and I will jump right into the spoiler-free review. If you have seen the movie and you don't really care about the spoiler-free version and want to see the spoiler version, you can go ahead and click the card right here when the video is live, as well as a link in the end card if you want to watch it after this one or something like that. But they will go up quite a bit after each other, but once it is up, it'll be there when I pointed. So anyway. So yeah, I loved this movie. I loved this movie. Now, I don't want to say it is a flawless movie whatsoever. There are a few things, and I guess I'll start off with the flaws right off the bat. And again, this is spoiler-free, so I won't get into a whole lot of stuff, but I'm not too... I really like Elizabeth Banks as Rita. I thought she did a terrific job as Rita. But Rita was written very weird in this movie. It was a very, like, shift in her character between the start of the movie, how Rita was portrayed, so to speak, and then the later portion of the movie when she's actually speaking a whole lot instead of just mayhem. But it's kind of disjointed a little bit, and I wish I knew why. I think it was done purposefully. I don't think it was poor writing or anything like that, but I think there was probably a portion of movie either in the middle or toward the beginning that kind of explained things a little bit better in terms of why she is the way that she is, because we don't really know a whole lot, and I'm hoping that that can be expanded upon either via comics or maybe an animated series sometime down the line. Please, that would be really cool. Or in sequel movies, should that be a thing that happens, just to get a little bit more backstory on her character, because I feel like I said, it was just kind of disjointed. It was there and it was here, but I think it's something that could easily be explained, so it's not a huge deal breaker for me or anything like that, but that was the only major character flaw I think I had, and it kind of extends to Zordon as well, and I think a lot of this just boils down to the fact that we don't know a lot about the interpretations of these characters yet, and I think we will, be it through comics or novelizations or anything like that. I feel like this is going to be a very, very strong film franchise should it get a sequel and then a third one and maybe even a fourth one down the line, similar to how Transformers did. But I've got a lot more faith in Dean Israelite and the writing crew that he has than I do for the Transformers movies. That's not to say I don't like the Transformers movies. I certainly do. I love the Transformers movies, but they're very disjointed from one another, and I think Dean and his crew could probably string together a really awesome world should they have the means to do so. So I'm looking forward to what might happen in the future. This is Leon, by the way. With that, and I would love to see that backstory between the fight with Rita and Zordon and everything in the future. Just like I kind of wish we got a little bit more of in the actual original series. So that is that. Just like minor complaint that we don't have a whole lot of backstory yet, and that's something that can be resolved in the future. Another flaw that I had with the movie was not a whole lot else, to be honest. I agree with some of the complaints that... Now, it didn't bother me personally, but I do agree with some of the complaints. It does take a very long time to get to the action. There is some action parts, training montages and Rita attacks and all that sort of stuff. So it's not devoid of action or void of action, I think. I don't know English. So it's not to say it was boring throughout that portion of the film, but it does take a while to get to Rangers and get to Zords and get to Megazords and all that stuff. But that personally doesn't bother me. I am a huge character-driven person, and this movie was very much that throughout the first 2 acts of the film. You learn a lot about these Rangers. You learn their personal lives, their family lives, which I guess is the same thing as personal life, but basically what makes them tick. You learn a lot about those characters, and I think that was the most fascinating part about this movie, is that within the span of the 2 hours and 5 minutes, or whatever this film actually ran for, I think 2:10 maybe, 2:05, I think it was 2 hours and 5 minutes total, because it was 2:20 I think with the previews, and those are 15 minutes, so I think it was 2 hours and 5 minutes or so, give or take. You learn a ton about these Rangers, and they do it very poetically too. It's not all in your face. Like, it's not a situation like, oh, here's Trini, this is all about Trini. Oh, here's Billy, this is all about Billy. You learn it gradually, and sometimes you learn it very subtly. They don't come out and say certain things, but they will mention tiny clues about like the identities of these Rangers and who they are and their backstories, and I loved that about this film. Like I said in the portion of this part of the review, I love character-driven stories. It's one of the reasons why I like Logan so much. Logan was very much a character-driven story with action elements, and that's kind of what I feel Power Rangers was too. It's a very character-driven movie with a ton of action elements. Especially the third act of the film is where most of the action is, and I think personally it pays off. Now, I will say right off the bat, I don't really deem this as a spoiler, but there isn't a whole lot of morphed fight. You don't actually see the suits as much as I figured you would in a movie called Power Rangers, but there is a lot more Zord fight than I thought there was going to be. I always figured Zord fight was super duper expensive, and they might not do that, but no, there was actually quite a bit of Zord fight in this movie, and I loved that part a lot. It was great. So I will definitely say I did enjoy the third act of the film a ton for its action sequences. Like I said, there wasn't a whole lot of more footage in a movie called Power Rangers, but again, like I said, I'm just a very character-driven person, and I really connected with these characters throughout the first portion of this film, the first 2 acts. They did a terrific job fleshing out these characters to the point where it doesn't really need to be done further in any future movies should they have the opportunity to do something like that. Like in the sequel, we might learn a couple tidbits about these characters, yes, but we don't have to spend the time going like, oh, this is this person, they're going to grow in this method and such and such. So we don't have to waste time in future movies setting things up again. And I think that's kind of one of the biggest problems of the Transformers franchise, is the fact that people just aren't really staying on the Transformers franchise. So we learn about a character, and then all of a sudden the next movie they're gone and they're replaced with a different character. And then we have to learn about that character, and it takes time to show off what that character is about, or the new character just doesn't get any information whatsoever. So now in the sequel, we can focus on a potential Tommy character, or a new villain character, or something like that. We don't have to waste time going like, oh, Jason does this and that, and Billy does this and that. So I'm really, really thankful for that. And again, as a character-driven person, it was right up my alley. The pacing and everything in this film was perfect for somebody like me. If you are going into this movie wanting a blown-up action movie, like from start to finish, like you waste like maybe a half hour of them getting their powers, and then right after that, it's like kick butt and Megazords and boom and explosions and Rita and Goldar and rah and all that stuff. No, you're not going to get that. You are definitely not going to get that until, like, reverse that, so to speak. But for me, it worked. It definitely worked. And watching it a second time this evening, I connected with them all over again. And I feel like that's going to happen upon repeat viewings. I just feel more and more connected with these guys as individuals. And they're all flawed human beings. They're not perfect characters. And I think that's what makes these so relatable compared to something like MMPR, where a lot of the characters were just written as these very goody two-shoes characters. They were all kind of perfect. They only had flaws when the plot really needed them to have flaws. Like Billy was afraid in that one episode, and Tommy was forgetful, and someone was afraid of clowns and all that stuff. Whereas in this movie, like, they all have pretty major flaws, and I saw a lot of reviewers complain that they are very angsty characters. I'm like, yeah, have you seen a teenager lately? They're either nuts or angsty. That's just generally how the world works. And we've got a nice little balance of nuts and angsty in this movie. So I like it. It feels real. It feels like how real Power Rangers could get should that actually exist, if that's kind of what I'm trying to say here. And I'm hoping I can get my point across a little bit here. But it feels real. These characters feel real, like they could exist. And I think that is the best part of this movie, bar none. The effects are great, the characters are fantastic, and the things that this movie sets up for potential sequels and potential world building through other media is phenomenal. And dare I say, more phenomenal, because I'm a nerd. But I'm so excited for what the future holds with this movie. Like I said, I have very, very few flaws with the movie. One thing I will also say right off the bat is the original theme song is kind of almost nowhere to be seen. There are a couple nice little tidbits here and there, and I won't give away that. But keep an ear out for sure. It'll be very noticeable when it happens. But keep an ear out for that. But the score is definitely very, very, very beautiful. I downloaded it this afternoon, and I listened to the whole thing before the movie. The score is very, very nice for this film. So Brian Tyler, did a great job on the score for this movie. But I cannot stress enough how great I thought this film was. And I'll get into more details in my spoiler review that I will film directly after this. But no, if you're on the fence whatsoever, just dive into this movie. Go see it. Love it. It is definitely not a film for everybody. I feel like caviar critics are going to very much hate this movie because they basically, I feel, don't understand the franchise or what the franchise can be. And I think this movie is a very, very huge indication of what this franchise could be like if the people making the normal TV show had that sort of mentality. We could have a fiction that is on the level of stuff like Avatar: The Last Airbender, but instead we have stuff that's on the level of, I don't even know what to call Dino Charge and Ninja Steel right now. I don't know. I don't want to say PJ Masks because I think that might actually probably be written better than Ninja Steel is. But I digress. It's fantastic, and I very much look forward to the future. Like I said, it's not for everybody. If you've seen it, you didn't like it, let me know in the comments below what you thought the biggest flaw was. I won't fight you on your opinions or anything like that. Opinions are opinions. But I do have to say 100%, I loved this movie. I will probably see it another 2 times in theaters because 1, I'm a nerd, and 2, I got a lot of family and friends that want to see this movie with me because I'm the designated Power Rangers nerd in my family. So I got a lot of people wanting to see it with me. So we shall see how many times I actually go see it. And I will buy the best freaking collector's edition when they come out with the Blu-ray. I just imagine exclusives at different locations. And am I going to buy this movie multiple times? I might actually do that. But I digress. This was long enough for a spoiler-free review. So that about does it for this. Go see it. Go love it. Embrace it. You just can't get enough of what they've done with this movie. Fan-freaking-tastic. But that about does it for this review. Let me know what you think of the movie in the comments down below. And of course, like, subscribe, hit that bell so you never miss a video. And as always, thanks for watching. Take care, and have a great one. Bye.